So you see, I'm a lifelong learner. I honestly believe that when we know better, we can do better. So on this pregnancy journey, I have read this, 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 and even this. And now I am reading this, and the unbelievable shifts that have taken place in my mind, I would like to share some of them with you. Just stick around, don't go anywhere. Hello and welcome. So today I will be sharing part of my learning journey with you on my fourth pregnancy. Like I said in the introduction, I'm a lifelong learner. I like to learn, especially in areas that I'm interested in. And this time, for my fourth baby, I really did read a lot. And I know that is perhaps strange. Most people say, it's the first time or the second time that they really did all the research and all that, and after that, it's just a breeze. But my fourth baby was an interesting surprise, right? So I decided to go on an adventure, and do things differently and learn how I could be better. And one of my experiences, I would call it, on this journey has been reading this book, The Montessori Baby by Simone, Davies, and Junnifa Uzodike. If you remember Junnifa, I have some series with her on this YouTube channel, which we called Shaking Tables. She's actually an early childhood specialist, early childhood teacher. She owns a school, the Fruitful Orchard Montessori School in Abuja, and she's on the board of the International Association of the Montessori organization, right, AMI. And so she's a friend and a sister, and she's just really done very good work generally. However, and I also, I'm a student of the Montessori system of education generally, and a fan of how children are raised differently to be able to grow up to be wholesome, independent individuals that can be positive parts of the society. But I must say that the Montessori Baby really blew my mind, and you'll soon find out why. I'm still reading it. I'm not yet done with it. But just going through the first couple of chapters, I think I'm like halfway done with it right now. It just shifted my mind totally on many issues and made me to stop and really think. Right, I guess this will be the first baby I'm attempting to raise in a Montessori way. Yes, my children usually, get the benefit of the Montessori system of education and all of that, perhaps from when they're toddlers. But with this, it's called A Parent's Guide to Nurturing Your Baby with Love, Respect, and Understanding. Now, I grew up in Nigeria, right? And I still live here in Africa. And I can tell you that respect and a newborn baby usually do not go together in the same sentence. And I'm sure some of you listening to me would wonder, what does that mean? And so that's the first point I want to share with you today. How do you raise your child or meet your child or take care of your child with respect, love, and dignity from the very first day? Now, that was the first thing that I encountered in this book, and it was just amazing. And one of the things that they pointed out was to say, if you, me, mom, adult, if I had to be in the hospital or something and then doctors had to come and perform a procedure on me and nobody's talking to me, so they just carry you, take off your clothes, and just jab you with injections, no word, move you from place to place and do what they like with you, how would you feel? Like, would that be something you would like to experience? I'm sure that would be a terrible very terrible experience, and it's something you come away from that hospital feeling like, oh no, that was very bad. Even if they were doing it for your best, even if they were the best doctors, I mean, they had the best skill technically, but just the handling, you know, of you without the courtesy, without the respect, without the dignity, would actually produce adverse emotions, you know, not nice emotions from you. And so they draw attention to the fact that every child, from when the child is forming in the womb to when the child is born, from the very first days of the child, is a full human being, actually worthy of our respect, our love, and dignity. In fact, to a large extent, they are more in need of it. Why? Because remember that for 9 to 10 months, this child has been in a very predictable, safe, cozy, and very comfortable environment where everything is designed to meet their need, where they're coming first. So from the lighting in the womb to the temperature in the womb to, you know, the nutrients that the child needs, everything, it's there, and it's designed to just cocoon that child and tend to the child's needs. Now, imagine that you were that child and just having a filled, beautiful day, and you've just been there for so long. And now the time for labor comes, and then this strong contraction starts to happen, you know, in this your environment, and you're wondering what is going on, hitting you from the walls, right? And then pushing you out until you come out. And oftentimes you come out into this place with this bright, jarring lights, and, you know, sometimes people talking in different places. Well, in our part of the world, usually, you know, the baby just taken, the cord, you know, the cord is cut, separated immediately from the mother, you know, taken aside to go, and sometimes a bath is given to the baby immediately, of course, after making sure that all the parameters are fine and the baby's fine and the baby's dressed, you know, roughly, very quickly, you know, before. So for some, depending on how the hospital is designed and what their rules are, for some, they bring the baby back to the mother. For some, the baby is put in a separate cot, sometimes even in a separate place, you know, a different nursery from the mother, especially if, unfortunately, the mother had some complications and is not able to tend to the baby at that time. Can you just imagine that experience, right? And so I think that will get any, you know, normal human being to be upset and to be in wonder and to be uncomfortable, just like, what just happened? What is going on? Alternatively, what we can begin to do is to actually anticipate how this new special person coming into the world, you know, feels and is going to feel by being exposed to different things. And then we can begin to rearrange the environment and even prepare ourselves better as, you know, parents of the new child, and even, of course, the professionals on ground to receive the baby, the doctors, the midwives, and everyone, you know, to do it in a way that is more tailored to support the child and to receive the child in a way that gives the child a feeling of love, of respect, of dignity, right, in the whole process. Now, I know it's different if you have to have any sort of intervention because of ill health or because you're trying to save the life of either the baby or the mother. That's completely different. But now we're talking about the regular births that take place, right? So this book actually starts from the pre-birth process, you know, what you're supposed to be doing, how you're supposed to be communicating with your child, even talking to your child while your child is still in your uterus, and starting that process of bonding, not just you talking to the child, the baby's dad talking to the child, because yes, at some point the child begins to be able to hear and begin to recognize voices. So if you've had that kind of relationship with the child for, you know, regularly, and not just even the dad, if like me, this baby has older siblings, it's something that you want to do to bring the children, you know, close, to make them part of the process, get them to, you know, touch and feel the baby, feel when the baby is moving, interact with the baby, talk with the baby, so that they're setting the stage, for the kind of bond that they would like to share with the baby when the baby's here, right? So this system of loving and respecting a child and, providing what a child actually needs and not what we just think the child needs starts from before birth, goes all the way through birth, and then the book focuses primarily on the first 1 year after birth and then talks a bit about the toddler phase of birth, all right? So yeah, the first thing that I learned that, got me really thinking, because I honestly had not looked at it like that before, was, thinking how do I, set myself up to treat my child, this new baby coming into the world, to receive the child with love and respect, and to continue to treat the child with love, respect, and dignity. And in the line of that, another thing I learned is actually talking to the child. I know that for most of us in this part of the world, we find this really strange, but I definitely am going to try it this time. And it's with interacting with your child when you want to do stuff for the child. So take, for example, you want to change your child's diapers. Instead of just, dragging the baby and doing it, first of all, you wait, you speak to the child and say, okay, hello, you call the child's name and say, all right, I'm going to need to change your diapers now. I want to change your diapers. Would you like that? And watch to see, how the baby responds. In fact, even before you pick up the child from where, let's say, the child is lying down and just being quiet, say, okay, I would like to pick you up now, and wait for a cue. Of course, the child is not talking at this time, but, especially in the few weeks after, as the child becomes more active, you begin to see cues that are saying yes or seem to be saying no. And the book actually says, if you sense that, no, the child is not ready, you can pause a bit, play, do some other things, talk a bit more, before you go ahead, you ask the question again. And trust me, I was just like, wow, really? Very interesting. So I'm looking forward to trying that and seeing how that goes. And also saying at the end of the process, for example, your child has gone, and then, as you're changing the diaper, for example, you're explaining what's happening. Okay, now I'm going to do this. I'm going to use this wipes. Oh, the wipes may be a bit cold. Even though I've tried to warm them a bit and all of that, you might feel this and feel that. This is what I'm doing. And when you're done, you actually say, oh, thank you for letting me change your diaper. Thank you for letting me hold you. Thank you. Just getting that conversation going, all the while trying to maintain eye contact as much as possible and just trying to have a pleasurable face and ambience, around your child. So I don't know about you, but that was pretty novel to me, and I'm looking forward to trying it out. I'll let you know how it goes, okay? All right, so that was number one. Now, the second point that really resonated with me was the point that spoke to slowing down and enjoying your baby. Basically, slowing down, enjoying your baby, and letting your baby enjoy you as well. Now, I think this particular point really resonated with me because I haven't done so much research and work in the area of maternal care, especially around the immediate postpartum period, where some women struggle with things like postpartum depression, and sometimes even as bad as postpartum psychosis, usually because of certain predisposing factors or because they don't have enough support around that time, or because everything just becomes so overwhelming. I really found it refreshing, though some part of it again was was novel, and I'm looking forward to trying it. I'll explain that in a moment. But the whole idea of just really taking time to slow down, right? Understanding that this is a different phase in your life. It's a new phase, and it's okay not to have everything in place. Sometimes here in this part of the world, you've had a baby, you're having visitors. I remember me the first time I had a baby, I thought I was so strong, I felt really strong. So it wasn't, so I thought, oh, why stay in bed if I don't feel like, I kept hearing things like, no, sleep when the baby's sleeping. No, I wouldn't hear of that. But I was like, oh no, I'm strong. And so when I have guests, that's the next thing that happens. Once you have a baby, you're having so many guests that will come out. Sometimes I'll actually be the one entertaining them, serving and doing stuff like that. Trust me, after about 3 weeks or so, I crashed big time. And it was a big lesson for me, that even when you feel strong, no, your body has gone through a lot. And so if you're lucky to even feel strong, at that time, you should be concentrating on the baby and on nothing else. So, I have a great course, which is the Omugwo course for moms. I have the one for moms and I have the one for dads. You can, follow. I'll put a link to that at the end of this video. So if you want to learn more exactly on how to design your environment and set it up such that you get the kind of care that you need, and to know exactly what to do, how to take care of yourself, how to, make sure that you have everything that you need in that time following childbirth, you can go and get that course. It's a great course, trust me. It's like nothing else that you have ever gone through, for as regular courses. But back to what we're saying, what I learned from the book is that you must learn to slow down in the days following childbirth. In fact, there's a portion of the book that describes that practically you should slow your activities down when you're relating to the baby to about 5% of your normal speed. That made me really laugh. Like in communicating with the baby, when it comes to the baby, in carrying, in spending time. For example, if something would have taken you, 1 minute to do, right? Now, take your time to do it. So you spend almost maybe 15, 20 minutes doing it with the child, right? And I can relate, because sometimes you can do these things pretty quickly, the bathing of a child, dressing up a child, even feeding the child, and you just want, oh, please sleep, so that I can settle down and go and do something else. But no, stopping and slowing down, making every moment count and making it memorable, for something, the breastfeeding time. Yes, not just time for eye contact. And then please, all of us are guilty of this, including me. So I'm telling myself, I'm reminding myself, the time for breastfeeding a child is not the time to be scrolling, or posting content or putting stuff on social media or just being on my phone. It's a time to bond with that child. So that's the kind of slowing down, shutting out the outer noise, just concentrating on, really living, really enjoying life. The whole process of pregnancy and childbirth is actually a miracle. If you look at it, closely, it is. And now you have this new full human being, full creature who depends on you for everything. And you're like setting the tone for life, for your relationship with this child, for life. Right? I think it's worth slowing down for. Those days are days you never get back. So other things that you can do, please outsource as much as you can. Let people help you with other stuff. Or if you don't even have someone to help with, please, can you leave it? Anything that can be left should be left, right? So that in this time you can just really enjoy the process. The truth is, your baby needs it as much as you. Right? You might not feel that way, but your body needs it. And as you slow down and as you begin to communicate with your baby on a deep level and just do those things, what's happening is that your body is also healing, right? And you do it well, your body will actually heal faster and you're able to be strong and your baby's strong, and then you guys can, the time passes pretty quickly anyway, and then you'll be ready to fly again. But you would have set a great foundation for that child, as with your relationship with that child, and giving yourself a good chance to heal and to recuperate and, get back to your top form. So that was the second thing I learned. Now to the third thing I learned from this book. So today I'm just sharing 3 things with you, okay? There's more to learn and I'm still reading it, right? But the third thing is how we don't need so much stuff. Honestly, this really helped me. Good enough, I read the book before I had finished my baby shopping. I'm telling you, like it cut my baby shop cost in, well, maybe not half, but really significantly. And I'll explain, the whole Montessori system of raising children and raising a baby actually emphasizes on creating a great environment, right? That it starts with the environment, and that's why even the birthing process for them, it's about creating the right environment to receive the baby. Now you have to create the right environment to nurture and support this baby to full developmental potential, right? And I mean, that's all we want our children to be, not just physically good, but, emotionally, socially, and otherwise, right? Yes, I know. And so that's what the book talks about. But can you imagine that, here, and maybe one of these days we should get one of the, maybe Junnifa, one of the authors, to come and talk more about it. But there is a concept about floor beds. Yes, floor beds for our children. So instead of all those expensive cribs and stuff like that. So basically, the book just shares a list. And let me see if I can find that page at this time. There's a page here that actually has the drawing, right? And it's at home starter set for Montessori babies, right? There's what they call a topocino, a thin quilted cushion. Then there's like just that baby Moses basket, or what we call a bassinet, for sleeping when the child's between 0 to 3 months. And then you have a low mattress, right, on the floor for sleeping. Then there's a floor mat for movement. There's a long horizontal mirror that you place in the movement area, a place to hang a mobile on, so the child's on the floor and then the mobile is on, a low shelf to display simple activities, a changing mat that you just have somewhere you store when it's not in use, and a low table for eating food once the baby can actually sit. These are just the essentials. Like, it's eliminated. So of course, apart from clothes and all of that, you're talking about, like, when you're thinking about putting together a baby's nursery, a baby's room and stuff like that. So the crib, all the swings and all the noisy, not noisy, like fun things, actually that just go up and down. A lot of, even the high chair, there are certain controversies because there are other schools of thought that may not agree, but they actually spend a lot of time explaining why, and I think this book is available on Amazon. I would suggest that you get one and actually, read and see for yourself why they say what they say, and see whether it's something you'll be willing to try. So for me, yeah. So instead, I made that 180-degree switch, and instead of getting a crib, because I didn't have my crib anymore, because my last baby is about 5 now, and then this surprise came, so I didn't have a crib anymore, so I was wanting to buy that and then buy a playpen. In fact, they talked about a playpen and said, they don't subscribe to that at all, and explain their reasons why. Interesting reasons as well. So I guess it worked for me too. So I just decided to get the Moses basket instead, that could stay on your bed or stay, around you until you're ready. And the idea is to transition that child from there to a floor bed. The whole idea is to begin to give the child a sense of independence from very early on. So from birth, you're supposed to create a safe space for the child, where even if the child wakes up, by themselves, they can come down. So imagine a floor bed that a child can, crawl down from and find their way and, be in that space, move to maybe the floor mat with the gym stuff and, safe, totally safe, a place well baby-proof. You won't be afraid, even if you're not in the room at that time, it's fine. And they also say, I remember reading that if that floor bed idea is too radical for you, what you could do is to have probably a floor bed during the day that the child can take a nap in, and then you get a toddler kind of bed at night, right? That has some support protection, but the whole idea is that when the baby starts to move and starts to walk and all that, the baby can actually come down, find their way out of it, and come find you or go be busy with something else that they are interested in the safe space that you've created. Interesting, right? Interesting. So, like I said, I'll be trying some of these things, and I'll probably come back to share and let you know how it goes. So, in all, I think it's a good book. And here, I'll just read a part from the back of the book. And it says, it's time to change the way we see babies, right? Drawing on the principles developed by the educator, Dr. Maria Montessori, the Montessori Baby shows you how to raise your baby from birth to age 1 with love, respect, insight, and a surprising sense of calm. So the book is going to help you to prepare yourself for parenthood, physically, emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually. Help you become an active observer to understand what your baby is really telling you. Yes, that was another thing I learned. To be led by the rhythms of the baby, instead of the other way around. Then how to create a Montessori spaces in your home, including yes spaces where nothing is off limits for the baby. How you can set up activities that encourage babies' movement and language development at their own pace. And finally, how to raise a secure baby who's ready to explore the world with confidence. Sounds interesting, right? I found it very interesting. And like I said, I'm still reading it, so much more to learn. All right, so that brings us to the end of this particular episode of My Belle Chronicles, where I'm sharing with you part of my learning journey on my 4th pregnancy. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share this video, and even set your notification notice if you'd like to get prompts when we put up new content. And it's also important to me that you comment, if you found some part of it hilarious, please say so. If any one of it got you thinking or sounds interesting, say so. And you can share with us the other things that you have done to help yourself, have a very smooth sailing while you're raising your baby, or to raise a secure baby the way that we need to more and more in the world. So until next time, I've been Dr. Mega. See ya.